Hi everybody, my name is Paul Keeley. I'm a Microsoft MVP, and in this short series of videos we're going to discuss the idea of keeping everything on-prem, how much safer it is on-prem versus going to the cloud. What does that actually look like, and is it fully true? Lots of the time in my day-to-day workings I'm working with CIOs, CTOs, etc. who feel that really what they want to do is keep everything on-prem, keep everything the way it is right now. You want to keep everything in-house. You want to have your data centers, your servers, your network connectivity, but basically everything in your environment, because you have control over that. And essentially it's safer because it's right there. You can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it, and other people can't. It's your data. And when I think about this idea, which is the status quo, which is how we've all evolved, which is what IT has become, or certainly what it has grown to up until a certain point, and the certain point of the line in the sand has been the emergence of cloud computing. And if you think of some of the enormous hacks, the data breaches that have taken place over the last 1, 2, 3, 5 years, the security landscape has been that these companies have had their own data centers just like you, but lots of them have had enormous data centers with security teams of 50, 80, 100 people deep working on IT security, with firewalls, with intrusion detection systems, with antivirus, with anti-malware. And what's happened to these people is they've got hacked. And just hacked? No, they've got terribly hacked. Information has leaked out. There has been huge financial penalties. There's been huge financial cost. And this has happened to people who more than likely have better security and infrastructure than lots of people watching this video right now, and everything was on-prem. So that strategy for them didn't work. And the question then for you is, how much better are you going to be than what they were to keep you safe just with this environment? And right from the start, I'm not saying what you need to do is migrate everything into the cloud and everything will be better, because it absolutely won't. But what I'm trying to get across or get you to think about in this video, in these video series, is perhaps there's a hybrid story. Perhaps there's the power of cloud computing that could possibly help secure your environment, and what might that look like? Right now, your team, thousands of people in your company go into your environment and you hit Control-Alt-Delete, or Windows 10, maybe you don't, maybe your username and password store there, and you put in your username and password, you get a ticket and you log into your network. And with that username and password, what can you do? Well, you can do everything. And single sign-on, of course, means that I sign on once and I get access to applications throughout the environment, and I'm never challenged again. And what that essentially means is that if somebody can breach the username and password combination, and they have that, they have access to everything that your user account has, and will remain having access to what your user account has until the next password change, unless they've got a solution to stop that, or unless they've moved across the network and got much higher access accounts. So in terms of that username and password, I was working with a company who had a security firm come in, and they picked 20 users, and they went to what information they could find about them publicly on Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And they were able to guess 3 passwords based on football teams that they liked, based on sports that they were into, based on significant birthdays. They were able to guess these passwords. And when they were able to guess these passwords, they were able to get access to these user accounts. So when you think about getting access to the user account, if I'm in finance and somebody gets access to my account and they can log on as me, well, they can access financial records. Perhaps they can access payroll. If I'm in R&D, they can access our intellectual property. I don't want to labor the point, but I think it's pretty clear to understand that me sitting down and just getting access to my systems through username and password is somewhat risky. And if somebody's able to go and hack that username and password, then I have a data breach. And in terms of people hacking that username and password, Yahoo when they got hacked, they a billion, in and around a billion usernames and passwords got hacked. But for me, like, probably the more painful thing that got hacked was, because 2 of my accounts were in Yahoo, something that got hacked for me was my questions, you know, the private questions to reset your password and get things. And the reason that that's such a problem is because those questions don't change. Where I went to school, my first bike, my first car, my first girlfriend, like, that was my first. That was, you know, the town I grew up ain't going to change. And so if people have got that information and that's possibly for sale on the internet, they can suddenly use a lot of tactics to build a profile about me. And in terms of getting malware into your organization, I'm sorry, but it just isn't that difficult. The most secure branches of the American military are being breached, and malware is getting in. And really, the idea that you're going to build a wall that's going to protect your environment and that access to that's going to be a username and password, just have a think about it for a moment and question, is that really going to be the safest approach that you can take? Is that going to offer the most security, the most advanced way of looking at your environment right now? And really, for me, I don't think it is. And I think if you ask yourself, is that going to work? Because, like, we can show you page after page of companies that have been hacked, that have had that mindset and it hasn't worked. So I guess if you can answer the question, what's so special about your environment, and you have something really special, maybe you'll be lucky. Luck isn't a great security strategy. So what we're going to do in the next couple of videos is we're going to look at some of the options and give you food for thought. This isn't a you must do this. This is just have a think about some of the options that I'm saying.